Hey there, YouTube followers. Michael of Painting War Games. Today I'm or it's more like tonight. It's 11:45 p.m. on the 27th, and I actually got to be at work close to 8 a.m. I know it's late, but I was watching a video on the Sustainable Center. This is going to be sort of my video response to him. Um, and I watch him on my other YouTube channel that I really don't do a whole lot with, but I subscribed, and I'm gonna get the word out that this guy has a lot of stuff to say. He has a lot of good points to say. So you guys who are watching, please, my followers, follow him. He has a lot of good stuff to say about the fantasy line. He's a big hardcore fantasy guy. He knows a little bit about 40K, and this is sort of his take on 40K. Okay, so he found the rumor on Bell of Lost Souls, and I found this rumor on Fahrenheit 212. 7th edition 40K, and it's not going to be 6.5. Here's the rumor. I'm going to read it verbatim. The next edition of 40K will be called 7th, not 6.5 when it drops, but as far as the rules go, it will be less of a jump from 5th to 6th. Key areas being updated: Interceptor, Skyfire, Fortifications, Lords of War, Allies, and Data Slates. That includes Escalation and like supplements like Stronghold, Assault, which are for escalations are the super heavies, and Stronghold Assault is the fortification. As for its release, it will probably be in September, not the summer. It is not finished yet, it's still being tested, so anything can happen. Cross your fingers on that one. The thought behind this edition is to make the game less alpha, strike explosive, and more competitive at all point values, even when including Lords of War. But D weapons outside of Apocalypse may see alternate rules. They have a PS to say pistols might come into close combat. There was always that rumor pre 6th edition before it launched that if you had a plasma pistol, you can actually shoot the guy in sort of close combat, or if you hit him, it counts as AP2. So we might. I firmly believe now. Let me take a step back. I watched the Sustainable Channel's video to this, um, and I firmly believe that fantasy needs a 9th edition. I want to get into fantasy. The group I game with up here in the St. Louis area, we have talked. We all want to get into fantasy. There's one guy of us who has a lot of fantasy stuff. We all want to get into it, but we've all decided that we're going to wait for 9th edition fantasy. Primarily because it's a new rule set. There's not going to be this arms race right off the bat. The rules are still new. People are still learning the meta. And particularly for a guy like me who's been playing 40K. Particularly Space Marines here, guys. And I've been dabbling with Eldar and other things. It's always nice to start out with a new rulebook. I and my gaming group was the first to adopt 6th edition. The other guys followed suit 3 to 6 months later. But we're 18 months into a new edition, and it seems like Games Workshop has broken the 40K rulebook. I would love to see 9th edition fantasy. I really would. I personally believe fantasy needs a new edition. That way I can jump into it, because I have a real problem with wanting to jump into fantasy. Granted, if they don't get a rulebook for another year or two, still I don't want to jump into it knowing that 9th edition is looming. There is a 9th edition book out there. I think all rumors have pointed that there is one, that they just don't want to release it just yet, because now they've created this huge problem with 40K. And that is the arms race. A Sustainable Center says the sky has fallen on 40K. And that is true. The 40K 6th edition rulebook is pretty much broken. In all intents and purposes, it's a good core rulebook, but it doesn't have everything you need. It doesn't have the data slates, which is something I don't even know about. Like, I have been hearing bits and pieces about data slates, and I finally got on the GW's website today, and I saw data slate for Cypher, and data slate for the Tau Christmas bundle, and the Eldar thing, that Eldar giant bundle, raises a lot of questions with me. As of with my escalation video, I still agree with what I said. I firmly believe super heavies. That's my phone going off. It's my buddy, that one of my gaming members that I've been texting, because he works overnights and I work mornings. So, but I firmly believe, like I said in my escalation video, that super heavies do not have a place in 40K, or at least they don't have a place in 40K competitively. When you want to play with your mates, you just want to play, just a game. You're shooting at dice with your fellas. You're having a beer and pretzel type game. Because that's how I refer when people I work with ask me, like, hey Michael, because I bring in some of these things from my models sometimes. I show them off to the guys at work. It's like, Michael, what is that? I was like, well, it's a tabletop game. I call it the tabletop beer and pretzels game. Sit down with your mates, you have some beer, you have some pretzels, and you throw dice. Fantasy, and this is where I diverge from fantasy and 40K. I say 40K, the game that I've been playing, is a shooting game. Fantasy is all about the close combat, and that's rightfully true. So, and as my buddy just said, he agrees with me that, coming out with a 7th edition rulebook is pretty shitty. And he's asking me, what are they going to change to fix it? With Interceptor and Skyfire, I think those rules are pretty clear. Fortifications, those rules were always pretty clear. Even with their new supplements, a Stronghold Assault or whatever that is, rules were pretty clear. Lords of War is where that blur came in, where that morph said, hey, let's take all of our Forge World items. This is going to be a long video, guys. I'm already telling you. Despite how tired I am, and that I need to go to bed, but I can work with lack of sleep. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. It's just sort of important for me to get this out there. Lords of War, the super heavies and the super gargantuan creatures, that is where I think Games Workshop sort of made the faux pas, and to where the tournament players, particularly I, and the casual guys, have sort of said, what's wrong? What's going on here? We have our new Apocalypse rulebook. We were dying for it, and we got it. And, me and a buddy split it, and, he'll have it a couple months, and I'll have a couple months, and I just got done bringing it back to him, and I gotta say, Apocalypse is Apocalypse. Really nothing has changed, except that all the nice, pretty Titans and super, the Bio Titans and Stompas and stuff that were in Forge World only books are now in the Apocalypse books, so you can use them. And I think same goes with the Escalation book, that the Herudagon, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, it's a giant Tyranid Bio Titan, the flying super heavy gargantuan creature. That thing is in there as it was in the Apocalypse book, but going forward, I definitely see 2014 being the year for 40K, although I don't like that. That being said, I'm actually going to have to read a text that I sent the guy because I can't remember what I told him. So we all know Tyranids are getting updated in January. Guard will be getting done next, after them, presumably. Orcs will be after that. And the first three are pretty much set in stone. It's going to be Nids, Guard, Orcs. Sort of known that was coming. But the next ones are sort of up in the air, from what I understand. Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar got updated somewhere near the end of 5th edition. That was cool and all. It was Dark Eldar and Necrons got updated in that year, so because I remember that was a 2 codex year. It was really odd. Dark Eldar are getting redone. Necrons are going to get redone. Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and Grey Knights. Those are all slated to get redone. Those were supposed to be... Now, if 7th edition doesn't come out, we won't need to worry. But all these were supposed to get wiped. The entire 40K line was supposed to get redone as far as codexes goes. Hell, I even got my Space Marine one finally. You know, I've talked about it. I've actually had a look at this thing. I like it. It reminds me very much of the old Codex. Has a few little tweaks in it that I'm really interested in getting into. Particularly with the idea of drop potting Centurions. I know it's not allowed. I need to see an FAQ that says it's not even. Well, we'll get into that argument later. Because I know one competitive player who does it, who gets away with it. So I'm just sort of looking at, why can't I? If he can get away with it, why can't I? But yeah, so I mean that's what it is. I am not too happy to see 9th edition fantasy you know, go away. I know it's out there. The book is out there, just like the Imperial Guard book is out there. The Tyranid book's out there. I imagine the Orc Codex is out there somewhere. Getting its final tests done. Here's another thing. I haven't even looked at this rumor, but I'm on Fahrenheit 212, guys. I have it on the screen. I do all my editing on this screen. So just bear with me, guys. 40K Radio said it. The summer GW release. This summer GW will release 7th edition 40K and 9th edition Fantasy has been shelved for now, because we all know that they're not going to release 2 major rule books in the same year. It caused problems with them because GW's all weird in the head. From this source, it has us give us picks on Space Marines and a Codex on a month and the month earlier. I guess Space Marines will get updated again, which is really stupid considering we just got the Codex in September. Dark Elves, okay. I guess the same source is what they're saying that is bringing us. Okay, it's called Sentinels of Terra is the thing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading as I'm talking. And like I said, this video will go long. Okay, so the same source that said that Tyranids weren't going to be in December, that said Tyranids weren't going to be in December or January, this is the same guy. And the same guy who's bringing this rumor talked about escalation and stronghold rules, and also said that data sleets were coming. And for all intents and purposes, I don't know where this guy's getting his information, but this guy's been right almost the entire year of 2013. It's just sort of sad. 18 months into 6th edition, and Games Workshop has broken their core rulebook. In my opinion, it's broken. It's more to the point where tournament organizers need to step in and say, look, these are what we're going to play with. And if you don't like it, bye. Get out of here. We don't want you. And that's how I feel that they should do it. I was all up in arms, like I said, about escalation, and I made a video, and I haven't even read the book. And I still hold by my, things. And I've said it twice in this video, maybe 3 times. But super heavies and super heavy creatures should not be allowed in 40K. That includes super heavy flying creatures and super heavy flying vehicles. They don't have their place. Those are Apocalypse only. Get them out of my game, please. I would love to see 9th edition. I hope this rumor's wrong. I hope this guy has finally said, I've given him enough, and now I'm going to troll them. I hope 9th edition Fantasy comes out, because I really want to play 9th edition Fantasy. I really want to get into it. I really want to get on the bandwagon. The group, like I said, the group that I game with doesn't want to get into it until 9th edition launches, so that way we can all learn the rules at the same time. Because frankly, one of us is going to buy the rulebook, and then we're going to go copy it. We're going to copy it, and we're going to hand it out, or we're going to scan it, and we're going to give everyone PDF files in our group. That's how this rolls with us. Yes, come after me, GW. I know what I just said is a copyright infringement, but whatever. You guys produce the rules, we play with them. So, man, I really hope that this is all wrong, guys. Like I'm looking at this thing. that tells about the releases for next year now. Yeah, so the definite ones that they definitely want to do next year: Tyranids, Imperial Guard, Orcs, Space Wolves, and Dark Eldar. And if they can find time to fit them in, they'll do Blood Angels, Necrons, and Grey Knights. And that will effectively finish off 40k. Now, the rumors for Fantasy. There are no, this is what's getting made, this is speculation of what's getting made. Dwarves are going to be in Quarter 1. Wood Elves will be in Quarter 2. Bretonnia, Quarter 3 to Quarter 4. Warhammer 9th edition, if it does come out, will be in the summer. Like they always release their editions, it's always a summer release. So, I mean, there's a rumor that says, hey, these releases are getting done for Fantasy, and then now there's another rumor that says, hey, look, that's not happening. I definitely believe that Dwarves will get done, because they're not going to release all these 40k codexes right off the bat. They'll do Tyranids, and they'll probably do Dwarves, they'll do Imperial Guard, and then they'll probably do Wood Elves, and then they'll do Bretonnia, and then they'll probably do Orcs. So we'll get 6 codexes, I can see for sure. 5 to 6 for sure out of 40k. And as far as that out of Fantasy, I know there's a couple other codexes. I heard Beastmen haven't gotten redone in a long time, and Tomb Kings I hear are just like atrocious, and the Tomb King players are up in arms that they need a new book, so they want a new, they need a new edition. They need 9th edition to sort of get them a new codex. Give it to them, guys. Come on, GW, give it to them. Give Fantasy what they need. I know Fantasy's a big thing over in Europe, and that 40k is here mainly in America, but come on. Give the American players what they need. Give them what they need. I know that Fantasy is sort of a stable system right now. Just from what I hear from players and from the Sustainable Center. Come on. I understand. Fantasy it's balanced. You guys have answers to everything. There's a Death Star unit out there. You guys have the answer to find it, to crack it. With Magic, because granted, you guys got the. I wish 40k Psychic system was like your guys' Magic system. I love the premise of your Magic system. I love it. That's why I want to get into that's why I want to get into Fantasy. I just love Magic. I love dragons. I mean, I want to play Dark Elves or High Elves something so fierce, just so I can feel dragons. I mean, I got my dragons. I got a Hell Drake. It's a Drake. It's not a dragon. Come on, give me a dragon. That's why I want to play Fantasy. But if I have to wait until 2015, 2016 to get Fantasy, hate to say it, the itch might have died by then, and the urge to really get into Fantasy might have died for me. So, GW, make this happen. Make 9th edition Fantasy come out. I know some of you guys are listening. I know you guys, come on, you guys troll YouTube just as bad as you guys troll eBay. Come on. Hook a brother up. Bring me 9th edition Fantasy so I can go in there and drop probably $2,000 to $3,000 in your Fantasy line and just ignore your 40k line for a while. Trust me. Nothing against your 40k line. Space Marines, getting kind of old to paint. I mean, that's why I dabbled in Eldar. But I mean, come on. I like the charge. That's why I play Chaos Space Marines. I like the charge. I like my brother Khorne. And I love my Papa Nurgle, because he makes me tough in close combat. But 40k is not that. It's a shooting army. I want Fantasy. I want a 9th edition Fantasy. Give it to me, guys. Alright, this has gone on about 20 minutes. This is Michael of Painting War Games. I'm signing off. You guys leave your comments below of what you guys think. I warned you it was a long one. You had to stare at my ugly mug the entire time and listen to me read stuff off. So, alright, I'm signing off. And as always, keep gaming and have fun.